Today, our growing economy, combined with our responsible fiscal management, affords us a unique opportunity to make smart, forward-looking investments that will strengthen our state for years to come. And we all know that nothing will have a greater impact on our future and on the future of our state than the commitment that we make now, at this time, of a growing economy, to education. The choice before us is how to invest the resources of a growing economy in a way that will pack the biggest punch, not only for our economy in the short run, but for our state. It's really pretty simple. In order to create good jobs, we need to have good schools. And that's why my Good Schools, Good Jobs plan includes a couple of things, well, three things actually. First of all, it triples funding from the Missouri preschool program to help our students start kindergarten grade to learn. It keeps college affordable and expands access to STEM education with an 8% increase for our public universities. And with $278 million additional dollars for our K-12 classroom, my budget puts us on a path to fully fund the formula next year. It's important to know historically, in 2005, 9 years ago, a Republican legislature and a Republican governor passed this formula. And now, with our economy picking up steam, there are simply no more excuses not to fund it. This is the test, and this is the year to get serious about fulfilling the promise we made, meeting our obligations under the law, and overcoming our. Even though Missouri already has very low taxes, 6th lowest in the nation, some legislators want to cut taxes even further and do it in a way that would undermine our ability to support public education now and for years to come. Last week, the General Assembly put on my desk Senate Bill 509, a fiscal ticking time bomb that would blow a $620 million hole in our state budget and force significant cuts to public education and other vital services. First, the price tag. Even if we accept the legislature's own estimate of the bill's cost, Senate Bill 509 would reduce state revenue by $620 million annually when fully implemented. To put that number in context, that's the equivalent of what it would take to fully fund the formula and keep college affordable with another tuition freeze combined. It's amazing how that number matches the 578 plus the additional dollars that we're moving this year in my budget. Missouri's a low-tax state, so punching a hole of this size in our state budget would force significant cuts to public education and other services that support our economy and strengthen the middle class. To give you an example of what these numbers mean, on Thursday, the Missouri School Board Association released data showing the impact of such a revenue reduction would have on local school districts across our state, and the numbers are stark. This bill fully implemented, $223 million less for our schools each and every year. Now, in a global marketplace that demands a highly skilled, highly educated workforce, stepping back from our commitment to public education would be bad for our students and bad for our economy. So Senate Bill 509 is truly agreed to and finally passed by the legislature. Listen carefully here. This bill, as the version that actually got to my desk, would eliminate income tax on Missourians with income greater than $9,000 a year. That's right, eliminate it. Okay? This provision alone, I talked about what they said it would do. This is what it eliminated 97% of all individual income tax collections, wiping out 65% of the state's general revenue budget, and ultimately pushing Missouri into fiscal chaos. It's really hard to overstate the crippling impact that would have. Teachers would be laid off, schools would shut their doors, mental health facilities would be shuttered, and the AAA credit rating we boasted for decades would be gone. With a simple stroke of my pen, if I was to sign this bill, it would separate Missouri from every state in the nation as the only one unable to meet even the most basic obligations to our people. The consequences of a fiscal disaster of this scale would be devastating. Also, because of the Hancock Amendment, extremely difficult to undo if this bill would be. Now, the Senate Bill 509 would have catastrophic implications for Missouri schools and families. There's really no question. The only question is how something of this magnitude ended up in a 5-page bill that passed both chambers of the legislature without debate or public discussion of this problem. Now, there are only two real plausible explanations of how this portion of it that gets rid of the income tax for $100,000 got in this bill. And both of those potentials are equally troubling. Either this provision was an accident, another example of carelessness by legislators unwilling to dedicate the time and effort necessary to avoid grave errors like this, or this provision was placed in the bill deliberately at the behest of ideological interests. perhaps led by one St. Louis billionaire. These interests have long been determined to shift the tax burden away from themselves and onto the middle-class families by eliminating the income tax. We didn't really mean to do this, Governor, and this is wildly complicated tax law. We are in 3 minutes here with a very bright young lawyer going to explain how simple this mistake is. Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Governor. Exciting looking verbiage up here. We're going to talk a little bit about the tax law of the state of Missouri. This is Senate Bill 509. Actually, it's just the first 2 pages of it, as the Governor mentioned. It is just a 5-page bill, but also, as the Governor mentioned, has some pretty significant impacts. Under Missouri law currently, when a Missouri taxpayer is determining how much they owe in income tax, just like at the federal level, they look at the tax bracket. On the left side of the bill here, these are our current Missouri tax rankings. So as you can see, if you're a Missouri taxpayer and you have income of over $9,000, you would go to this bracket and you look to the right to see the tax rate that applies to your income. If you see the bold language here, this is the change that was made by Senate Bill 509. Up here, the bill requires that there be reductions to this tax rate down to 5.5%. And then in subdivision 4, in the highlighted language here, it provides that the bracket...
That's also the language on your screens.
Very, very handily, it's there.
Those of you squinting in the back.
The highlighting is, yeah, it's probably not that bright that the folks in the back can notice it. If you can read along there, the bracket for income subject to the top rate of tax shall be eliminated once the top rate has been reduced to 5.5%. So let's go back to the brackets. See here, the top bracket currently is for incomes over $9,000. That would be eliminated under this sentence. What that leaves is a new top tax bracket. That new top tax bracket is for incomes over $8,000, but not over $9,000. What this means, and this was confirmed by an outside independent analysis that was performed by a professor of tax law at Washington University in St. Louis, is that any Missourian with income over $9,000 will no longer be subject to income tax. Essentially, the income tax in Missouri would be eliminated.
We know that was shall be eliminated. Last week when we got the bill, we saw this provision. The review team looking at the bill when it was presented to my office saw this provision, and as Chris Pieper said, they knew immediately that this was different language than we've seen at any time, and it says shall be eliminated. That it does exactly what it said. But